And I had a thought. I mean, truth be told, I think I had this thought a few days ago, but I wanted to sort of like stew on it a few more days and just kind of like map it out. And it started with the question of, if like there are insects and animals, right, that are born without nurturing, yeah? They're not taught anything. They are born preloaded with information, yeah? Which means that they are born with preloaded instincts or preloaded codes on how to play the game of life, right? So it allows them to immediately interact with and survive in the environments, right? In sort of like human speech, we'll call it innate behavior. And I think innate behavior is a very powerful and compelling argument for the idea that consciousness actually precedes experience, right? That's something I'm also kind of like, I've got a lecture on that coming out actually. When I find the time, I'll upload it and finish it. I'll finish it and upload it, I mean. So what that practically means is intelligence is embedded at the level of being, not learning, yeah? Because of the above, okay? So let's look at a couple of examples. Like spiders will hatch and immediately they're able to weave webs with like really complex geometrical patterns with no training required. You know, they know what to do. Yeah, an insect falls in that web, they will know what to do with it. Yeah, humans will tell you that the spider hasn't got a brain and shit like that. Yeah, not humans, fucking the people that believe the mumbo jumbo in the religion of scientism will tell you that. But the facts are the facts. Yeah, how did it know how to do this stuff? That means it's born already. It's already in the state of being what it is, right? Turtles hatch on the beach and instinctively they know to crawl to the ocean, yeah? Bees know how to build hives, pollinate flowers, and communicate, right? Birds are able to migrate thousands of miles without being shown any routes, yeah? These are facts, okay? So what this suggests is these animals are not learning anything. They're not learning from their environment, yeah? That feedback system doesn't exist. They arrive with embedded code, yeah? Which means that their survival is not dependent on nurture, but it's more dependent on alignment with an internal program. Are you with me so far? Cool. So this calls into question our very overemphasis in the human world on nurture as the sole teacher, because as I have just established or just shown you, it's not actually a valid point of view, you know, and it points more towards a universal intelligence which encodes itself in life. Again, this is also a fact, which then kind of leads us to think about the deeper question, right? So if these beings emerge into the world ready, then that means that we are also born ready. But we come with a twist, yeah? We are born with potential that requires unlocking through experience, yeah? Not the other way around, yeah? And our kind of like, our higher state of awareness or higher state of consciousness and potential gives us more choice, yeah, how to experience the place. And the shadow aspect of that is it also comes with more distraction. So we are less instinct driven but more story driven. This is why we fall in love with stories so much. So now, if the above is true, then I can actually posit with absolute certainty actually that these animals are preloaded with information. That means that they are experiencing their own minds. It can actually be argued with almost 100% certainty that they are not even experiencing the world as we know it. They are not even experiencing their microcosms. They are dreaming themselves into being because everything is already preloaded in them. and whatever they're experiencing as the external world is simply them projected out. Yeah? So these animals are literally living expressions of their own encoded minds and programs. They don't think in the human way. They act from their internal programming, the internal download, yeah? Which means that because it's like pre-installed software, yeah? And that software is their mind, and their life is the execution of that software. Which means that it's like they're not interacting with the world as we know it, because they themselves represent the software, and the experience of themselves is the execution or the command to execute play on themselves. So they're not experiencing the world as it is. They come with the preloaded program, which means that they're just experiencing their own minds. They're in a living, breathing dream. Bro, if you can argue with it, come. But I'm pretty sure, I thought about this, I know what I'm saying. Yeah, it's facts. So, with that in mind, if you think about it in terms of a simulation or in terms of a dream or unified consciousness, which is what we are, then the ant is dreaming itself as an ant. And the bee is dreaming itself as a bee. The turtle is dreaming itself as a turtle. The spider is dreaming itself as a spider. I'm only using one stage of awareness or consciousness to drive this point home, because there are multiple layers or multiple levels of consciousness. When I say there are multiple levels of consciousness, yeah, because awareness is a spectrum. So with that being said, or that being an actual truth, then it stands to reason that there are stages within it, right? So I'm using this stage, the preloaded config, to drive the point home. Every different levels come with different twists. Like the human I've just explained, animals different, blah blah blah. But the innate thing about ourselves is the actual software that we come with, which is what we're here to experience. This is what confirms the fact that we are actually dreaming. So these animals are not confused about identity or purpose. It's impossible for them to be, because they don't even need to recognize. It's a knowing that they are the dream they came here to play, wherever here is. Do you understand? Because whoa, where did this wind come from? What the fuck, bro? Can you hear this shit, bro? It's so sudden. They're not confused about identity, right? They're not confused by identity or purpose, right? They don't even need to recognize, they know it, that they are the dream they came here to play, wherever here is. Because the fact that they come preloaded with the information and it's all within them, there is no here. Here is just an idea in the mind of God, this kind of like container of expression or an experience. But truly, they might as well just be in they could be anywhere else. They could be anywhere. It wouldn't make a difference. That's the point. So they could be dreaming themselves anywhere. It doesn't matter what the stage looks like. Do you understand? So there are a couple of like salient kind of points that we need to delve a bit deeper in, because when we start to think about it in that way, we start to recognize, okay, maybe environment, behavior, and instincts, right, are simply, it's harmonized, if you like, with their role or the dream that God wants to dream or consciousness wants to dream in the simulation. They aren't separate from it. They are nodes of a larger mind, yeah, playing out precise archetypes. They experience the mind of the one by being it, because the mind of the one is all things. Yeah, okay, cool. So the only difference between creatures like that and us, or creations like that, should I say, because that makes it a bit more kind of equal, is the human often misidentifies with the body or the ego. Yeah, we identify with the body somehow. We somehow think that we are this body. Yeah, but it's meaningless dog shit. Yeah, the preloaded software, the thing that's actually driving the avatar, is what matters. Yeah, not the suit. Doesn't mean anything. And because of that, we disconnect from our true purpose and we question meaning. There are people that question the meaning of life. What's this all about? Blah 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 blah. The spider doesn't do that. No animal actually does that, because they recognize the ultimate truth. They can't communicate it to you. If they could, they would. You know, trees, birds, bees, the elements, they all know what they are. They know what they are. They know the truth. Yeah. So these beings, or all other aspects of consciousness, don't need to wake up from anything. They are already awake to their code, fully awake to it. Yeah, their entire existence is a direct output of the pattern they carry. That's why they embody it and show it. Yeah, that's why it's like, you know, a fish is born and is born able to swim, and it just knows what to do. It knows what to eat. Like, if anything is born ready to take on its environment, it can be argued that that thing actually isn't experiencing the world. It's experiencing its own mind. It's walking within its own mind as that thing. Do you follow? If something has spawned somewhere and it's able, it has a code, it knows what to do in its quote unquote environment, blah 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 blah, it knows how to climb, it knows how to fly, it knows how to do this, blah, 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 blah. None of that stuff is taught to this thing, and it just knows how to do it. Then it can be argued that that thing, yeah, is experiencing its own self, yeah, but this time as that thing, because it's literally just projecting its own mind. There's nothing it's experiencing that it doesn't already know, or isn't part of it already. Think about it. Because if everything's already preloaded in your mind, predators, what to eat, fucking how to weave webs, how to fly, how to swim, how to do this, how to build, how to do this, how to do that, it's all encoded in yourself. And you come to a place and you find all the raw materials to do those things, or you can just do those things and blah 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 blah. Then where are you really? You're in your own mind, but this time you're in your mind playing the role of that thing, that creature, that creation. It's a fact, bro. Yeah? So when I say that we're walking in the mind of God, this is what I truly mean, because the world is literally the mind of God. It's the container within which the dream happens. The dream doesn't happen externally, it happens internally, right? So we are basically like a living field of fractalized minds, right? Expressing through a multitude of forms. Yeah, some beings act through awareness, which is the human. Others act through programmed flow, which is the insects and animals. But all of them are expressions of the very same one consciousness, just at different levels of lucidity. Do you get it? Alright, cool, man. It's getting a bit choppy at the park, bro, so I'm gonna dip. Peace.